Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome to a discussion video on EVE Online. In this video I definitely want to give you guys my analysis of EVE Online going free to play. A clear sign that the game is dying, so it's time to panic everyone. Definitely sell all your plex now that you still can. But no, in all seriousness, in today's video I want to give you guys a bit of an analysis on the freemium option that CCP is going to introduce into EVE Online with something called the clone states. So if you want to check out the entire dev blog, I'll link it down below. But I honestly think there is no need to panic just yet. In fact, I've taken a little bit of time to read up on all of the comments and the feedback that people have been giving. Just also trying to think a little bit about what it could mean for the game. And so now I'm actually ready to give you guys a couple of points about these clone states and the freemium option for EVE Online. So what is it? In November, CCP is planning to come out with an expansion or a mini expansion, and as part of that expansion they're going to introduce these clone states, which basically means that any character or any account, I should say, that is not subscribed to the game, that is not currently paying for the game, will actually revert to an alpha clone state that is limited in the skill points it can use and in the ships it can fly, but it will mean that every account and every character will always be able to log into the game and actively play EVE Online. Now it is true that there are some severe restrictions on this alpha state, on this freemium gameplay. So there is a set of skills for every race that you will be able to train up to a certain level. The total skill point pool seems to be at around 5.5 million skill points, and this will allow you to fly Tech 1 up to Tech 1 cruisers of the races, and also some smaller neutral ships such as the Venture for some mining, and probably some transport ships as well and things like that. So it is heavily restricted, which is why EVE Online isn't really going free to play. It is more going a freemium style of indefinite trial that you can keep playing the game. But I also do want to nuance this, because while of course it has heavy restrictions, the big thing about EVE Online is that it is a sandbox, one of the only true sandbox games out there in the world. It's also quite a unique game in that it is a single shot, everyone plays in a single universe, and that basically means that even with these alpha clones that are very restricted in the amount of skill points that they can actively use and the type of ships that they can fly at any given time, in EVE Online this will still allow you to join a lot of the content, to enjoy a lot of the game, and I would practically call this a free-to-play option. Although you will not be able to fly the most powerful ships in the game, you will be able to join any content that you actually want to if you find the right corporation. And personally I think that this is going to be a major boost for nullsec, because this means that there will be doctrines built by the nullsec powers that are focused around these alpha clones, so that they have doctrines which will be extremely cheap, but of course, knowing the EVE Online metagame, pretty damn effective in large numbers. And this will basically allow you to join those really huge battles, the content that EVE Online is most known for, the content that a lot of people do want to achieve as quickly as possible. I think that this will make that step quite a bit smaller in order to get there, and that there will be a very high demand for alpha clone players, for free-to-play players, to join these nullsec alliances, to join their fleets, to increase their numbers and to increase their power overall. It's really the unique nature of EVE Online that I think makes this a very good choice, and actually makes this very close to a free-to-play experience of EVE Online rather than a very restrictive freemium option, which for instance you have in World of Warcraft, where you can play up to level 20, but after that you have very you have a limitation on your levels, you have a limitation on how much gold you can earn, and after that there's really nothing else to do, and you cannot join any of the end game aspects of the game, whereas in EVE Online this will actually propel you right into what a lot of people consider to be the end game of EVE Online, which will be the big nullsec alliances and the mega wars in EVE Online. So let's first start maybe with some worries that I do have about this system. Basically, you will be able to create as many accounts as you want, and so my two major worries are, first of all, suicide ganking. You will be able to fly destroyers, which are very popular suicide ganking ships, and if you can just make as many of these as you want for free, that could be a problem. And my second worry, although I'm not that worried about this point, is of course like a bot army to be created by a couple of players that would start mining somewhere in a very safe pocket and really start to inflate the economy. So the potential hurt that the economy may suffer from free-to-play bots or bot armies that are to be created. Now, the reason I'm not too worried about that is because of the restrictions. I mean, you can start mining with 30, 40 ventures if you really want to, but how efficient is that compared to subbing a number of accounts and going for an actual mining fleet? I don't really think that it's going to change all that much, since botting is already theoretically possible, right? It's just as illegal on a free-to-play account as on a paid account, so I honestly don't think it's going to cause that much of an inflationary spiral to the economy. Luckily, I can see two very easy solutions for this. For the suicide ganking, just set the safety to yellow for alpha clones. That way they can still do some shenanigans. They can still go out there, try to scan down someone that's doing some missions and try to steal some of their valuable loot, right? Stealing and all of that stuff is what EVE Online, and scamming is what EVE Online is known for. So allow them to do that with a yellow safety, but don't allow this to be abused through suicide ganking. And all you really need to do for that is put all of these alpha clones on yellow safety setting. And then the other option, of course, is that you should probably restrict the active alpha accounts to 1. So this is already somewhat in place for the trial, but of course it means this has its technical limitations, but they should probably aim for trying to have this system that's already in place for trials also be in place for these alpha clone states, so that well, it basically will discourage you a little bit of creating 40-50 of them, multiboxing that, and then thus potentially having an actual impact on the economy. But as I've said, no matter what CCP will do in that regard, there will always be players that will find ways to basically cheat the system and still manage to go with multiple accounts at the same time, do input duplication and start botting as well. If they really want to, if they're dedicated enough, then they can do it. But I also think that considering the restrictions on these free accounts, that it's just not going to be worth it in very large numbers. Why am I positive about this? You know, you could probably have already see that I am in general pretty damn positive about the idea of adding a freemium option, so that prospective new players can actually dive into the game and give it a try for free. First of all, just from this dev blog, somewhere in here, if you want to read the whole thing, please definitely do so and then give all your feedback to CCP. CCP stated that it's a definite metric that the subscription is a very big barrier, one of the major reasons why people stop after their trial or just stop subbing as well. And I can actually believe that, considering that, of course, I've been playing EVE Online for several years, and oftentimes when some big events happen and you start seeing actual articles on news websites about EVE Online, or articles on our-EVE, our-all or our-games or something like that on Reddit, the comments that do come back very often from people that don't play the game is that the subscription is a pretty major deterrent to actually even giving the game a try. And I think that with this option, it'll give people at least the ability to experience EVE Online without feeling the pressure of having to commit to a subscription after 21 days or 14 days or 30 days, which was available for a little bit of time. So yeah, I do think that this will help reduce this sub pressure quite significantly. I also think that just in general, having more people in space will mean more content for EVE Online. It is a PvP sandbox, and so you actually need bodies out there flying ships in order to create content. Content is not created by CCP in the form of PvE or storylines or quests or anything like that. It's the players interacting with each other that creates the content, and so more people, I think, will only mean more content, which I think is positive for the game. And what I like about this as well is that you now have this realistic option of playing EVE Online for free and then earning ISK to actually make a Plex in-game and then start subbing your account from your in-game activities. It will still be very hard to do, but at least now you can give yourself a horizon of 2, 3 or 4 months in order to earn your first Plex, find that activity that is the activity for you in EVE Online, and then go from there. You're no longer restricted to the first 21 days and, oh my god, I have to earn my Plex within that time in order to play the game for free. That pressure falling away, I think, will help a lot of people find their way into EVE Online. You could also conceivably just play as an alpha character within the restriction most of the time, and then if every 2 or 3 months you actually start earning a Plex, just play on an Omega clone for a little bit more, eventually training more and better ships, and then just going on and off depending on your wallet or your activity in the game, or however you want to plan this. I think it will just give people more options, a longer horizon for enjoying the game as well, and less pressure to actually have to sub within the trial period in order to enjoy the game. And as I've said, honestly, while it is freemium and it is very restrictive in the skill points and in the ships that you can fly, considering the nature of EVE Online, I'm honestly really convinced that you can get a full experience, a full fun game experience of EVE Online from a complete free-to-play account. Another note that I wanted to make here is the potential for this system to be good economically. So of course, games going free to play tends to be a pretty bad sign for the health of the game. I would counter that with, if you've read comments from some of the developers, this has actually been in the works at CCP for more than a year now. So this is definitely not like a panic button that they've pressed or anything like that. This is a deliberate attempt to bring a new dimension to the game, to bring more people to the game through a free-to-play option. But I don't see this as a panic response to lower sub numbers or anything like that. And I can see a lot of potential for the monetization of these players, which of course is something that CCP will want to do. For instance, they've restricted all of these alpha clones to their race. So if you're a Gallente character, you will only be able to train and fly Gallente Tech 1 ships. I can see them, for instance, offering $5 if you want to also have the alpha skill pool for the Amar, for instance, or for the Minmatar or the Kaldari or whatever. That is very quick monetization options. After 2-3 months, people will have filled out all of the skills that they can train within their alpha account of their one race. If they're still not entirely sure, if they maybe want to have a bit more time before deciding, okay, I want to really sub and go hardcore for the game, give them an option like that. You know, all right, you've tried Gallente, pay $5, support the game a little bit, and now here you can now start training for all of the Amar stuff, check out new ships, check out the content in that part of space and all of that good stuff. I think that there are fair and good monetization options between the freemium free-to-play alpha state and the omega state. Another idea that I was having, for instance, is that you could have something like a beta state where you could train up to all sub-capital ships, for instance, but rather than having to pay $15 a month, that would be like only $10 or something like that. I mean, there's hundreds of options. I'm sure that it is part of the plan, but considering the blowback that CCP has always felt from the player base whenever they start to go the pay-to-win route, or there was even a hint of CCP thinking about a pay-to-win route, I actually think that CCP has everything in place to do this in a fair and correct manner, so that it won't kill the game in the same way that you are seeing games like Arcade, like Black Desert Online, that do end up just adding pay-to-win items to the shops, which eventually just kills all interest, I think, from players to actually play those games. I actually think that if there's one game, because it is a one true sandbox, and one developer, that is CCP, that can get it right, it would be right here in EVE Online. So in general, yeah, I'm pretty damn positive about that, and I'm looking forward to all of this myself, because in fact, reading up on all of this, I'm personally planning to go with an alpha state account. I actually do think that this can be useful to me personally, so I will of course always keep my main account, and I will keep that subbed as well, so that I can keep doing what I'm doing at the moment, or whatever I'm planning for that account next. But I do feel like I will at least try an alpha account as well, where I'm going to try out different things in EVE Online that I've never really wanted to risk with my main characters. So I can see myself going for a Galente character, for instance. I think that those will be the strongest in PvE content and in potential ISK making, and just try to get a series of videos on that character and its potential. But then probably also like a Kaldari character and maybe a Minmatar character. The Kaldari character would be perfect to take a first dive in nullsec, join one of those big alliances, supply him with a little bit of ISK from my main account, and just join those fleets, experience that content without being tied to a second account, a second subscription, or all of that good stuff. Just try and take part in that content, but at zero cost. Sounds really perfect to me. And then a Minmatar character I think would be pretty cool to experience faction warfare, which I think with the actual race limitations of these alpha states, if enough people come in here, this could really be a big change for faction warfare as well, with corporations and groups springing up around alpha clones to actually take part and have a real war in faction warfare. And it could actually have some fun racial aspects to it as well, where, well, mostly Galente characters are bound to join the Galente side. I think that's just human nature to do stuff like that, and as a result you could actually get some really cool faction warfare content out of this as well, in my opinion. So yeah, there you go guys, that's my analysis on the introduction of clone states that is planned in November in EVE Online. Personally, I'm positive about this. I think it could be very good for the game, and I'm totally looking forward to that as well, and showing you guys the potential of alpha pilots, because I actually think you can get a fun and full experience of EVE Online within the restrictions that CCP is planning right here. Thank you very much for watching guys, and I'll see you all next time.